Ms. Sanika Harad, with immense pleasure to extend you a very warm welcome on the behalf of eCell and CodeCell, who has clubbed us all together for today's seminar on motivation by a successful entrepreneur. We appreciate you taking time off your busy schedules. We hope to learn a lot in today's fruitful and engaging sessions. I would like to invite Mr. Chandan Biswas, Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh and Dr. Kishore Savakar to join us on the stage. It is said that an entrepreneur always searches for a change, responds to it, and then exploits it as an opportunity. And to develop a mindset like an entrepreneur, the right motivation and guidance is of utmost importance. Without further delay, let me introduce our esteemed guest speaker for the day, Mr. Chandan Biswas, founder of Chemisphere and a mentor to over 15,000 JEE, CET, and NEET aspirants in the last decades. His company, Chemisphere, works towards providing the aspirants detailed education in the subject of chemistry by providing them with extremely flexible and customized class schedules. I would like to request Vice President of IIC, Dr. Yogaraj Patil sir, to kindly felicitate our guest. Thank you, sir. I would like to request Sir Amol Mangrolkar to kindly felicitate our Vice Principal, Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh. I would like to call Mr. Chandan Biswas on the forward and to share his wisdom and experiences with us.
All right, hello everyone. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay. Okay, so since I will introduce myself once more, just to make yourself familiar. So my name is Chandan Biswas. I currently am working as a CEO of Chemisphere, and I am an IIT Madras Alumni. So a lot of startup journeys are there, which I want to share with you, because a lot of students, among you, are hoping to become a successful entrepreneur, right? All right. So before we even start, I would like to ask you one simple question. All right. You just have to answer by raising your hand. Okay. How many of you are looking for a job after you graduate from this college? Please raise your hand. Job. I can see. It's okay, don't be shy. Please tell me how many of you are looking for a job, because complete, Buddha. I can see, I have to see the percentage. All right, perfect. So it seems around 30% or 40%. All right. And rest of them, I assume you want to be an entrepreneur, yeah? Raise your hands if you want to be an entrepreneur. All right, very good. Now, my suggestion to you, even though this is an entrepreneur talk, I would suggest you to take up a job first, not become an entrepreneur first. All right. Now you might ask why. So this is totally counterintuitive, isn't it? Counterintuitive, because everybody wants to give their 100% and become the most fierce market what can I say, entrepreneur. So now why I'm saying this? Because the first thing you should understand is the market is very fierce. Okay, the market is very fierce and it is unforgiving. Now I'm saying this as a fresher because even I have started my entrepreneurship journey like one and a half years back, and I have learned the challenges the hard way. Because see, if you are doing a mistake in your paper, let's say for exam, you are giving an exam and you are giving wrong answers, the professors will cut your mark, but again, they will be forgiving, a lot forgiving, right? They will be excusing your nuisances or maybe some mistakes, or still, if they understand that, okay, this student has knowledge, they will completely give you full credit for the answer. But that's not the case with being an entrepreneur. Now, why I'm saying this, to illustrate that, I would share with you a very simple story, okay, which I read in some book actually. So the story goes like this: that two CEOs were camping out in a remote forest, okay, making barbecue food and all that. They were having fun. Just two of them. And suddenly, when the evening started coming up, then from the bushes, one wild bear came up. All right, both got super scared. One of the CEOs, they both wanted to run away. One of the CEOs said that, one of the CEOs started wearing his sports shoes. The other CEO was wondering, like, why are you even wearing the sports shoes? You're not going to outrun the bear anyway. Then the other CEO said, I don't need to outrun the bear. I just need to outrun you. You get the point? It's a dark one, right? But again, that's the moral of the story. Okay? So even your friends are not going to help you like that. Now what do you mean by that story? The main crux of that is you should be able to cope up with hard challenges. And when you go out of college, like just graduate from college, you don't have that many tools. And being an entrepreneur has, being a good entrepreneur, the most and ultimate tool which you should have in your pocket is your network. Network. Now, what do I mean network? See, network here you can think of like social networking. No, it's not social networking. Okay. You don't add friends on Facebook or Instagram and then you say, okay, I have a wide network. No, neither it does on LinkedIn. Okay, you might think, okay, entrepreneurs have this cool thing, LinkedIn. How many of you have LinkedIn accounts? Can you raise your hands? Okay, fine. So LinkedIn accounts, see, they're good, okay, but in real, just adding friends online is not going to help you succeed as an entrepreneur. You have to build good networks with established people, especially who are already achieved a certain level of degree of success in their own fields. Now let me illustrate that with you. Let me illustrate that with an example. Okay, very famous example and somebody who you know already, Mr. A.R. Rahman, right? A.R. Rahman, everybody knows, right? Is there anyone who does not know? Everybody has started this. Do you know the first hit movie of A.R. Rahman? Can you raise your hand? No. There isn't much before that. Roja, yes. Okay. Roja, have you heard of the song? Dil hai chota sa, choti si aasha. Super hit song. Super hit movie. In fact, all the songs from that movie are classic. Now you might ask, okay, that might be blind luck, right? He and Mani Ratnam came together. But to your surprise, Rahman has struggled enormously before that. When he was 6 years old, his dad passed away, I guess. Okay, and after that, he had his huge responsibility to take care of his family, his sister, and he has to run the entire house. But what happened is that he joined a band. Okay, he played orchestra in some puja, pandal, and all that, right? All that orchestra people you might have seen. So those people were, so he was doing that, and he gave one commercial. He did a jingle, right? There were ads of 90s, and there were very famous ads you might have and how many of you have seen 90s ads? I have not, I don't know. But yes, there was a Leo coffee ka brand. Okay, Leo coffee brand is there, a super famous coffee brand of Chennai. He did a jingle for that, and ad got super hit. Leo was a big name, and the Leo people, they threw a success party. Okay, they threw a success party, and asked like who is there, like who was the music director for that. So Rahman came up. The owner of Leo Coffee has his cousin named Maniratnam. You have heard of him, right? Maniratnam, have you heard? Abhi iska, like the PS1 cinema is coming up, right? PS1. So Maniratnam met him in the success party, and he was planning for Roja that time, the movie which I talked about. And he met for Rahman, and he thought, you are making my next movie, and look what magic he made, right? Had he not been into that network, I mean, in the people success party, do you think the Rahman's life would have been same? That is like the moment of inflection of two timelines. So take the correct timeline, you end up with the correct opportunity. That's why networking is super, super important. You must meet new people, influential people, in order to become a successful entrepreneur. Now, networking gives you super, super advantage of being lucky. Okay. Many people, you have heard that luck plays a very great factor, like being lucky in a business. For example, let's say you had 1 crore rupee before COVID, and you just got 1 crore rupee before COVID, and then let's say you launched a company of syringes or vaccine kadabba or something like that. Imagine how much would you make as of now? How much? 10 times more money, right? That is pure luck. Okay, that's pure luck. But that's something which everybody will get jealous of. Let's say you have that 1 crore and you made, let's say, 10 crore from that. Everybody will be jealous of you. Now, why would they be jealous of you? Not because you worked hard and you thought smartly, but just because you were lucky, right? They thought that they will be thinking like, why I am not lucky. Okay, everybody does not have the luck. Okay, so do you think luck plays a significant role in becoming successful? How many of you think like that? Luck plays a super successful role. I mean, it's an important role. Yes, exactly. Luck plays a major role in being successful. But if I ask you, can luck be cultivated? Can luck be harvested more commonly? Is there an art to that? Yeah? There are 3 types of luck actually. I read in some book, I was researching about that. 3 types of luck. The first one is circumstantial luck. Now, what is circumstantial luck? Let's say you and your friend, okay, the friend of yours is inviting you to some party, okay, grand party, and you meet your a girl or a boy in that party, and you like them a lot, okay, and then you start dating, and everything comes into together, and you feel very happy about it. So that is pure circumstantial luck. The circumstances made you like that. That's the exactly same thing happened with Rahman sir, right? Being at the right place at the right time. That is something which you can never control, right? Isn't it? But is it possible to become like, you have to be in more of that into those? Can you have more of those circumstances in your life? That is only possible when you have a lot of friends, right? Let's say one friend invites you to this party, another friend invites you to that party, and at least you are networking with like-minded people. CEOs have other CEO friends, right? Among you, everybody, many of you will be successful entrepreneurs, and you will be having people around you as your good friends, right? So that is your network, which is going to establish a lot. So your circle is keeping to expand. If you make a target, okay, very, very, very simple homework I'm giving you. If you meet one person every month, especially one person I'm talking about, an established person, one talented person, that much you can do, right? One new person every month. If you meet one new person every month, how many people are you going to meet every year? 12. On an average, one person can know how many influential people? Any idea? 30 to 40, I guess. I mean, at least people who are established, they have direct connection with them, right? So multiply that with 12, how many? Let's say 30 and 30 into 12. 360 potential contacts for you in your circle. Now, let's say you are running, your expertise is to create an app, mobile app. And out of these 360 people, one person or the other is going to need some work related to you, right? Or maybe they want to refer to you, they want to get some work done, and you are the right person to do that. Is it not possible to that person contacts, okay, tum kisko jante ho, and that's how they reach you, right? This could happen, yes? And that's how you get clients. That's how you get people for your business. See, being an entrepreneur means having more and more clients, right? And the first clients of yours are somebody whom you already know. So that's how we establish your network. So always try to be in touch with good and influential people, and they will bring a lot of good luck to you, okay? A lot of potential clients. All right. Now, just meeting is not essential. You have to establish very strong communication with them. Very strong communication with them. At least they should feel like you know them personally. You have to get personally involved in knowing people. Only then they will feel connected to you. Let's say if you just do it on the surface, sir, okay sir, yes, thank you, okay, and that will show as a fake thing. I mean, most of the people, they do it, right? Let's say if you are successful, assume that you are successful, you are a CEO of, let's say, a Fortune 500 company. Just imagine, okay? How many people do you think will meet you and act very like, yes sir, thoda sa sir, yes sir, thoda kar do, and that kind of like begging kind of thing? Like, how many people who just want to take advantage of you? How many people you think will come to you? Every day, at least 50 people, they will come, and you have to keep them away, like isko andar mat aane dena kind of thing, right? That kind of things happen, which means that you have to deal with a lot of these kind of problems. So when you do it, so communication is super important when you communicate with an influential person. To demonstrate this thing, you have to be very smart at speaking, and that is something that is a skill which you can learn by reading books, by attending seminars. Let me give you an example, okay? Let's say one husband is there, okay? One husband, he comes back from a tiring work day. He wants to have dinner, and he wants that, and his wife is super angry, okay? Super angry. And he wants to have dinner peacefully. Now, and if the lady comes and he wants to compliment her in some way, and he says that आज बिल्कुल हत्यारन लग रही हो, okay, हत्यारन, a murderer, I mean a lady murderer, okay, who don't know what is हत्यारन, उसको खाना नहीं मिलेगा उस दिन, right? He won't get the food that day. But if he rephrases the same thing, आज बहुत कातिल लग रही हो, same thing, same meaning, but how you put it, right? Meaning changes the meaning entirely, right? So whatever you write here is not always going to be the same sound when you speak it. Okay, same thing could be said in a very, very engineering way in order to meet new people so that get influenced by you. So you have to have super great command on your speaking skills, and that can be learned. There are a lot of seminars and there are a lot of books on that. There are books like how to public speaking books are there. Dale Carnegie is one famous writer. Okay, and there is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Have you heard of that book? How to Win Friends and Influence People? Dale Carnegie, very nice book. You should go through that. And make sure you should read at least, you have a lot of study, to go around, but at least still try to read 2 to 3 books every year, new books. Okay, if you want more suggestions, you can contact me on LinkedIn. I will give you a lot of recommendations for good books. Books are going to be a super helpful thing in your entrepreneurship journey, because you will learn from other people's mistakes. Okay, doing the same mistake and learning, it consumes a lot of time. You see other people doing the mistake and you don't make that mistake. That is the sign of a clever entrepreneur. All right. Another a story which goes like this. I have kept the story. Okay, so two friends. Okay, let's say Karan and Arjun. Two friends. They went to one temple. They were having aarti and all, but the aarti was taking so long. They were just got frustrated. One of the friends, Karan, said that I want to smoke. Okay, then why are you crazy? This is a temple premise. You can't smoke in here. Okay, if I can go to Pujari ji and ask, is it possible? He goes and he asked like, Pujari ji, can I have, can I smoke while I pray? Like, no, that is an insult to God. Okay, you can't do that. Okay, he came back and he told her what the Panditji told him. The other friend like, okay, let me go and ask him. He went and asked, Pujari, can I pray while I smoke? Can I pray while I smoke? Panditji said that prayer is always good. It's a done thing. You should remember God anytime you can. Okay, same thing but different way of putting. One gets the approval, another gets not. Okay, so you get the point. Communication is a super important strategy for any entrepreneur journey to take place. For example, what kind of challenges you will face because of lack of communication gap? Let's say you open up a technology company. You do a lot of things. Okay, you do server management, you do let's say website hosting and all that. A lot of different services you provide. You put all of that onto one website of yours. Okay, and you expect people to come. Okay, this person does this, and I will do that. But trust me, most of the people, they don't know what is a web development thing. If you go out there, out on the streets and ask somebody, do you know what is a web development? And he's like, what? ये क्या बोल रहे हो? ठीक है, some what foreign language you are speaking. So most people, they don't know. They just want to address one particular problem solved. They just, if you go to Apple website, phenomenal language they use in order to describe their phone. Okay. For example, they will say, they will have the entire message in crisp 2 or 3 words. Let's say you have this iPhone 14 has launched, right? What they will push there? Most secure phone ever. That is a tagline. Okay? And that crisp tagline, that nobody can misinterpret. They use super simple language in order to address the lowest common denominator person in the audience. Okay? Now, why do you think Bahubali becomes a big hit? Because the language and the content is kept in mind so that it can be reached to a massive audience, and nobody has another person to explain what is happening to the story, unlike Christopher Nolan's movie, right? Again, Christopher Nolan's movie, nobody understands in the first attempt also. You have to watch it twice, thrice, read articles about it, and then you will get, okay, this theory was used over there. So people get confused, okay? So you have to have a lot of clarity and warmth. Okay, warmth is also required in order to do that. All right, so next which I want to talk about is that you hear a lot of startup culture. A lot of students from your seniors, your juniors, other college people, they go into startup culture. Okay, now what is a startup? How do you define a startup? Can anyone tell me? I mean, whatever you understand by a startup, can you raise your hand and explain? Yeah. Speak, I can hear.
It's a newly come up business.
It's business, yes, exactly. This is just a business, that's it. Startup is nothing but a business, and startup is a fancy word for the same thing. But remember this, no startup can be long running if the business thing is not thought easily. For example, look at the biggest failure startup of all time, Paytm. Okay, Paytm. Have you heard about its IPO thing? Are you interested in stocks and all? Yeah, what happened to it? Crashed it, right? It crashed like crazy. The biggest crash of any IPO you have ever seen in the last 1 decade. Okay. Now, in order to do that, now why this is a failure? Because the business model is super complicated in that. And in fact, how the business works the CEO, Vijay Shekhar Sharma, I guess, Vijay Shekhar Sharma, he could not explain to the investors itself. Now, look at this. If you have a business, you start a company, and what you do in the company, if you want the business to be successful or easily understandable and people should like what you do, you should explain the entire concept of the business to a 5-year-old kid. If you can bring it down, the entire business model, into a few simple steps, so that a 5-year-old student also can understand, then you have more likelihood of success. How many of you belong to business backgrounds? I mean, whose father is businessman? Can you raise your hand? How many of you belong to a business family? Your parents are into business? Please, nobody there? Okay, very few. Okay. If I ask you, do your parents allow yourself to have the business exposure as of now? They're insulating you from there, right? Yeah. Anybody? I mean, you're not active into the business, right? Because when I see about Marwaris and Gujaratis, they are the business people, right? If you look at the top 10 richest people in India, you will find consistently Gujaratis and Marwaris there. Because they know how to do business. That's why you should study them. Okay? You should study every single thing, what they do, how they work, how they make money, how they invest, and they become rich. Okay? That is something which fascinated me a lot. Okay, that's why I got a lot of curious, and I had a lot of Marwari and Gujarati friends, and I learned, and the best part of that is that they will be forced by their parents. Galle pe baith, right? Just go to the shop and see how things are running, because their goal is not education primarily, but how to enhance their business. Okay, today, even today, students who belong from Gujarati and Marwari background, they are sent to abroad for MBA, and then they come back and they are basically asked to enhance their business, and that's how Ambani's got raised, right? Okay, and their sons also, they invest personally their time and energy and money in order to expand that business lineage. So that's how it is done. And see, the prosperity of a nation, okay, the prosperity of the nation entirely lies on your shoulders, right? If you do things, in that way, you should learn things, right? Nobody is going to teach you, you have to do it on your own. A lot of business schools are there. A lot of people go to MBA, बोले कि अच्छा चलो मैं business administration करूँगा और I will be a businessman. But the truth is, if you want to learn business, just do business, okay? Don't study an MBA degree and which has no real world significance and all that. So that's why you need to have a practical experience. Bookish knowledge se kuch nahi hota. There are people who are super street smart, isn't it? Street smart people. How many of you know? Some street smart people who are super clever and they can get things done in a jiffy, which you can't do by looking for in the internet for a long period of time. They can get it done quickly. You must be knowing people. You know anyone like that? How many of you know a street smart person? Anyone? Yeah? Just one? Okay, good. Street smart people are something which they will teach you, okay? So, I'm not saying that don't deal into illegal things, but saying, see, if there's a very unpopular saying, which I don't want to pick you up, I don't want you to pick up ideas, but people who are into drugs and all, they have actually the great business sense. Okay, but don't do that. Okay, I'm not saying that, but you should. They know the ethics. Whom should you deal with? How much money you can make? Okay, the skills are something which you can do for good. Okay, don't do it for bad, but at least you do for good and influence more and more small students, make people's life better. That's how the business should be done. Okay, as I said, सीखने का है तो कहीं से भी सीख लो. Okay, my friend was there, and his father was his father was a junkie, and and also alcoholic, and the student, my friend of that, what he did was I thought that he belongs to such a family, he will also become the same thing because the same family, no? But he turned out something different. He became a super successful entrepreneur as of now. He is in Delhi, And I asked him once, your dad was like such a junkie and drunkard. I thought that you will never do this. How did that happen? He said, I learned that what things not to do from my father. If I do everything what he does, I will become like that. So pick up the good things and learn from these kind of experiences. That's why the drug example, don't take it seriously. Okay. Also, I will see as of this stage, in the stage which you are, how many of you are second year students? Can you raise your hands? Second students, okay, majority of them. Third year? Third year, very few. Okay. Final year, nobody? Final year? Okay, good. So when you go into this entrepreneurship journey, so let me disclose you and how the timeline goes around in a typical businessman's life. Yours could be different, but that's how generally it goes. So let me brief a few things so that you should have a good idea how the things are going to be in next 10 to 20 years down the lane. It's my duty, I believe, to share what I have learned. So first few years, okay, first 4 to 5 years, you will be having this stage of survival. You might have a business, but it will be struggling with funds. You will be struggling with clients. This is the stage which you will have. Okay, and most people, they give up during this stage. You might have read this report that out of 100 startups, only 5% of startups succeed in today's world. How many of you know this data? Do you know? Most of the startups fail. Why? Because they don't have the business figured out, how the income is coming, how we are going to get clients, and then they fail. So keep that in mind. The initial 5 years are going to be super tough by default. Okay, you have to endure all that pain into that 5 years. But again, that pain will be eased out if you have good connections. Okay, let's say किसी मंत्री जी का आपका connection है. See how much good that comes with you, right? Mantri ji is there. They will support you. Okay, if you are getting short of funds, the funds will be supplied. So yeah, so good connections help you a lot, okay, in keeping yourself afloat. And that's why I told you. Let's say if you don't have that connection, then it's going to take a little bit more than that. Once that survival stage is done, all right, then you will be reaching a stage called security. That is the security stage of the business. Now, what I mean by security stage of business? After survival, you will be having a good income, not great, but good. And then you will be having a lot of competitors who will be copying your idea. Every good idea is copied, right? Yes? Even Coca-Cola is copied for so many years as Pepsi, but get the point. Like, people will be copying you. If you are successful in Mumbai, people from Gujarat or people from Delhi somebody might notice you on internet, and then they might try to emulate your idea. And then your service might be not so much desirable because somebody else is providing it for cheaper cost, let's say. Okay, somebody else, किसी दूसरे दुकान में कुछ सस्ता मिलता है, तो लोग वहीं जाते हैं ना. Why would they come to you? So you have to make sure that you are secure from these kind of competitors. Okay, that CEO wala story I told you about. Okay, so we have to be very careful of that. Okay, how your competitors will be taking advantage of you, and that's how you have to make some legal arrangements so that nobody else can copy. You will have to have a legal team in your company, and all that these things will be there. And you have to make sure that nobody else can easily copy your ideas. That will be the stage of security. Now, once the security stage is done, then your success phase is going to arrive. That will be around 15 years down the lane. 15 years from now, I'm talking about. You have to work a lot harder during these years, okay? Success means now your brand is going to expand over the country, and if you're lucky, maybe out of the country also. Okay, that's how everything works. So that is the phase that will take another 10 years. In those 10 years, you will be so successful, you will be making millions and millions and probably billions also if you are hardworking enough and you think cleverly. That is the stage where you arrive, the success stage. You will become as big as, let's say, Infosys. That kind of big we are talking about. Once you reach that stage, okay, what was the stage? Successful stage, success wala stage. Then you arrive at the final stage, which we call significance ka stage. Now, since you have gathered a lot of money, you are making billions, your your bank account balance is overflowing, okay? You have a lot of money in company, but now what you do? Now you give back to the society, okay? Now you do good to the society. How? By making good educational arrangement, because many companies you might have heard, they have like charitable institutions where they provide funds to make schools, hospitals, right, in rural areas, right? You might have heard of that, right? That is how you give back to society, and trust me, that will bring you more happiness and peace than all these success stages has brought to you, right? So that are the 4 stages of any startup. So that is a long journey. At this stage you might be wondering, okay, startup में हो जाएगा 5 साल में हम लोग बहुत अमीर हो जाएंगे, some newspaper will be publishing our articles. See, that's not real success. Success is what stays with you permanently. Okay, not one day article is coming and next day it's disappearing and somebody else is coming on the cover. That is not success. It is a lot of hard work. People will say that you are lucky, but you know how you have worked a lot harder. Okay, so how many of you trust yourself that you can make a very successful company and make the country proud? Raise your hands. Yeah, very good. So you have to that. See, even if you feel like, okay, you are less talented, don't worry. You just have to go. Okay, everything you can learn on the way. You don't have to learn everything on the way, right? Before you start, okay, you just do it and then you learn as you go, proceed further. So you don't need to learn everything as a whole. Okay, and lastly, I would like to share a very simple story. Okay, after that we'll conclude this talk. And the story goes like, there was a guy in a village, and he had an axe and he wanted a job. So he went to one city nearby and found a shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper said that, I want wood, just go to the forest, cut some wood and bring it to me. The first day he brought like huge amount of logs, woods, and he came back. The shopkeeper was very happy. He called him the next day also. The next day he also came, but this time he brought lesser amount of wood from the jungle. And he was wondering, okay, why this happened. Next day, even fewer logs he brought from the jungle. And this guy was now wondering and scratching his head. Like, then he, out of curiosity, asked, like, first day you came, you brought this many wood, and you started, and every passing day you're bringing less and less. Why? Then he said that, the boy could not answer, like, okay, no, I'm working as hard. I don't know why I'm making this money, but I get tired very easily. Then he had a look on the axe. It was getting dull and dull. Okay, that's why he was so much tired, and he understood the entire story. He didn't even ask anything further. Now, what does it mean? Like, even though you're working hard, but you're not sharpening your axe. By axe, in this case, I mean your brain. Okay, this thing can make you millions, even billions, if you think it rightly. This tool here. Now imagine what is different between you, your brain, and let's say, who might I give an example of? Let's say Ambani. Okay, he also has a brain. You also have a brain. Why? What is different? And certainly he does not work very hard. Okay, he just sits there in one room. He's not working hard. He's not keeping like weight on his head and going away, right? What does he do so that he earns so much and other people so little? Any guess? I will welcome your answers. Feel free to talk about that. What do you think? If you think that hard work is going to make you money, that person does not do, right? I was looking at one. I'm also a shareholder of some company. I have like a lot of stocks, and sometimes they will send me emails to like reappointing some chairman. Okay, and I just I got very curious, and I opened that email and saw that, okay, how much salary is this chairman withdrawing? Okay, it was like the chairman. Okay, chairman means a very big post in a company. He was making 56 lakh rupees per month, and that is excluding his other allowances. He will have his car, he will have his own like house also. Who's coming? Arun. Okay, so he will have his own allowances and all that. He has a lot of money, and that may make me wonder. This person must be sitting in an AC office all day, okay, not meeting many people after all. Why does he make so much money? Then it struck me, okay, in this thought process, then it struck me that he has some real good connections from everybody, like Vecna, okay. Vecna, usko kahan pe kuch ho raha, usko pata chalta hai, okay, something is coming. So, means, let's say, for hypothetically speaking, let's say some company CEO is there, okay. Let's say the Suez Canal mein se koi shipment aa raha hai. You have some shipment coming up through Suez Canal. You heard that thing, ever given thing, that ever given or evergreen, whatever. So that ship got stuck, no? A lot of worldwide trade and everything got stuck over there. Now let's say you have a company and you are awaiting a shipment. Now what would you do? From India, you will, if you are chairman, let's say, you know exactly who to call. Call up that person in Egypt, uska saman wahan se free kara do, yahan se commission le lo. And everything is easily done without waiting for everything else to clear up. That level of connection is there, and that is something which is super valuable, right? That makes you as a valuable person. So you have to have a lot of connection. That's what the first topic was there, making good connections. Everybody you meet, try to meet every month at least one influential person, and you have almost how many more, like 3,000 more connections every year, potential customer connections which can benefit you from a lot of ways. That's how you become more powerful, and that's how as an entrepreneur becomes successful, right? So that's my time, and thank you for being such a nice audience, for being doing me so long. I would like to have some questions if you have any. Is there another mic? You have another mic? If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. If you have any, I would love to answer your questions. Anyone? Pass on. Introduce me with your name, okay?
Hello,
Your name?
I am Valam from AHTC branch.
Okay.
I have a question that, can you give some tips there to connect with people in LinkedIn?
Connect with people in
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yes.
I would say try to meet them personally. Okay? Invite them for coffee or some lunch or something. Okay, that's how you. If you make one-on-one connections, that is much more powerful than meeting up in a group setting. Okay, so if you see some good person, maybe ask them for like, I want to learn something from you. If you have time, at least not much, like in 10-15 minutes ka time bhi aap sath, if you want to spend with them, that is a good, valuable connection. If you're genuine, that person will surely allow you. Okay, if you ask in a fake manner, then maybe that person is going to avoid you. I'm telling you that. Okay, so please be genuine in approach and show that you want to learn from them. Maybe that might bring you a lot of success. I mean, that means a lot of valuable connections from there. All right, try to make it one-on-one. Any more questions? Feel free. It's a general talk. Nobody else? Everybody got bored, I believe. Yeah? Boarding talk. All right then. Chaliye. Thank you so much for having me.
Excuse me. Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable information and motivation. It was indeed exciting to learn about your journey, and it was very easy to understand concepts from examples and abstracts. along with the importance of good influential company and establishing connections, as well as providing us with various sources to learn from and the fundamentals of business. Thank you again. It will definitely help us in the future and push us in the right direction. ESEL would also like to thank Vice Principal Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh for his valuable presence today. Lastly, ESEL also thanks IIC President Dr. Kishore Savarkar Sir and the entire IIC faculty for their constant support and guidance. Last but not the least, ESEL thanks everyone in the audience for your active participation in today's seminar. We hope to see you again in the future events and hope for an active participation. Thank you and have a great day ahead.